Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math questions out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 275. Page 275, today is our lesson number 4. Let's take a look at it. Question number 2. It says, what percentage of the group are women with red hair? What percentage of the group is, rather not are, what percent is singular, what percent of group is women with red hair? The first statement tells us that 5% of women have red hair. It is a data sufficiency question. It is a data sufficiency question. The very first thing we will do is put down A, D, B, C, E. If you do not know what I just did there, make sure that you watch the video, make sure that you watch the introduction, then you will understand it. Just type in data sufficient, type in GMAT data sufficiency intro along with my name, and the video will pop right up. Make sure you watch that video in its entirety. 5% of women have red hair. What can we do with that information? In order for us to be able to answer the question, what percentage of the group is the women with red hair, we need to know the number of women and we need to know number of men. We need to know both of these numbers. If we know the total number of women, we can figure out what 5% of that is, and that will tell us the number of women with red hair. And once we have the number of women with red hair, we divide it by the total number of men and women, and that will give us the percentage that we're looking for. But we do not know the number of men, we do not know the number of women from the first statement. First statement, all it tells us that 5% of women have red hair. Doesn't do the job. Even if it tells us even if the first statement told us exactly how many women, even if it told us exactly how many women had red hair, it still wouldn't have done the job, because we would need to know how many men there are. It doesn't do the job. What would have happened if they had told us exactly? For example, I'm going to play with it here. What if they told us that 5 of the women have red hair? Of course, we do not know the number of men, but assuming that we know the number of men, yeah, you see, even if they had told us exactly how many women had red hair, and even if we knew the number of men, how many total number of men there are, we still would not have known, because we would need to know the total number of women. We need to know total number of women, we need to know total number of men. We do not know it. It doesn't do the job. That tells us that the answer cannot be A or D. Let's look at second statement. The second statement tells us 10% of men have red hair. Well, big deal. 10% of men have red hair. Knowing that 10% of men have red hair, again, is the same problem. We need to know number of women, we need to know number of men. We do not know that. This part, the 10% have red, the 10% of men have red hair, is just rubbish. We're not interested in what percent of men have red hair. The question is, what percentage of the group is women with red hair? Second statement by itself does not do the job. Answer cannot be B. Answer has got to be either C or E. Let's put them together. If you put them together, the problem persists. The problem does not go away. Even if you put statement 1 and statement 2 together, the question still remains how many women there are, how many men there are. We have no way of establishing that. Since we do not know how many men there are in total, since we do not know how many women there are in total, we cannot answer the question as to what percentage of the group being the men and women, are women with red hair. The answer is E. The answer is E. Neither of those statements, even putting the two statements together, it still does not do the job. The answer is E. Let's do the next one. Problem number 3. The next question, problem number 3, is actually a very silly question. The question is, what are the odds of picking a boy? We have a class full of boys and girls, and the question is, what are the odds of picking the boy? Picking a boy, rather. The first statement tells us that 2/3 are boys. What the hell? If 2/3 of them are boys, those are the odds. If 2/3 of the class is boys, unless I'm misreading it here, unless I'm reading it, I'm not paying attention here, 2/3 of the students in the class are boys. In a certain class, one student is to be selected at random. What is the probability that a boy is going to be selected? 2/3. They tell you 2/3 of the class is boys. Those are the odds of picking a boy because the 2/3 of the class is made up of boys. The first statement by itself does do the job. That tells us that the answer cannot be C, D, or E. It's got to be either A or B. Oh man, I made a mistake, didn't I? I'm sorry. It should not be. It is A, D, B, C, E. You see how careless I was? A, D, B, C, E. Answer cannot be B, C, or E. It's got to be either A or D. Let's look at second statement. D would be the answer if both statements individually by themselves. Statement 1 by itself can answer the question, and statement 2 by itself can answer the question. If they can independently answer the question by themselves, each statement, then the answer would be D. So that's why we have to look at second statement. Second statement tells us there are 10 girls. Well, if we know that there is a class full of students, class full of boys and girls, and if you're told that in that class there are 10 girls, are you able to tell what are the odds of picking a boy? Of course not. How the hell we can tell? If there are 10 boys and 10 girls, the odds are 50-50. If there are 90 boys and 10 girls, the odds are 1 out of 10. Did I say it right? Boys and girls, we know girls are 10. If there happens to be 10 boys, the odds are going to be 50-50. Odds of picking a boy, that is. If it turns out to be 90 boys and 10 girls, the odds are going to be 9 out of 10. We do not know how many boys there are. We need to know how many boys there are, we need to know how many girls there are, or we need to know the ratio, which is what they gave us in the first statement. Second statement does not do the job. That means answer is not D, it is A. The answer is A. That's all. This question number 3 was very simple, very straightforward. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Bye now.